It is not your thoughts that are causing you suffering, but the fact that you are thinking that is actually causing you suffering. When you think of thinking, think of it as the more thoughts you think, the lower your vibration, the more attached you are to resistance, and the more you are caught up in overthinking, which is causing you to actually block more good from coming into your life. And think of it as the more you are able to let go of attachment to thinking, the slower your thoughts, the more high vibrational energy that can come inside of your body. The more that you will feel present to the moment. The more that you will feel in a flow state where there is no thinking that is happening, there is only being. For so long, we have been primed and conditioned to thinking that thinking is the secret to everything. When in fact, the less you think, the more divinely connected you will feel. The less you think, the more aligned you will feel, the more trusting you will feel, the more you will allow energy to move through you that invokes a completely different part of you. Now, this is something that has had a huge impact in my life, is understanding that thinking itself is a survival mechanism. Think about it. I mean, don't think about it. But thinking, if you are feeling safe, think of animals, for example, that are just present to the moment. They're not thinking. They're just naturally being. Now, as humans, we've created this ability to think, which does give us many benefits. It's very enjoyable to think. You can problem solve with thinking. However, I would say that there is a higher level of consciousness where instead, just like, Einstein himself said it, right? You cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that the problem was created, which means you must move beyond thought or beyond that level of thinking. Now think of this as an experiment that could absolutely change your life the way that it changed mine. I want you right now to think of a memory of when you were feeling the most bliss. You were feeling the most connected. You were at a peak, maybe in a flow state. Whatever that memory is, I want you to remember that. What is it? Now, in that memory, I have a question for you. In that moment, in that blissful, loving feeling you were having, what were you thinking of? What were the thoughts you were thinking? Now, most likely, what you'll realize is that you probably weren't thinking. You were probably being present to the moment. And if you were thinking, maybe it's, I'm appreciative of this moment. It's a good feeling, like when you're feeling love, joy, and peace, there are less thoughts because there is more presence. Like somebody gives you presence. Like a divine messenger gives you presence. I'm just kidding. But you think of it like the more present you are, the less thinking there is. If you think of the scale of consciousness even, where you have shame, guilt, fear, anger, you're thinking more thoughts and the thought quality as well is more resistant. There's more attachment to thinking, and that keeps you locked in lower vibration. Now, the more you raise your vibration, the less thinking there is. If you think of, for example, think of that of like Michael Jordan. Think of Michael Jordan playing basketball back in the day, and they're down by a couple points, and he needs to make the winning shot. What do you think he's thinking of as he's getting ready to make that winning shot? What are the thoughts he's thinking? Once again, you'll probably have guessed it. He's not thinking. He's present to the moment. He is in a flow state. When you are in a flow state, there is an energy that moves through you where you are not thinking, you are being. And the higher vibrational levels of consciousness include being, present to the moment, allowing the divine to flow through you, and realizing that thinking is keeping you separated from God, from the moment, from the connection to your higher self. Now, we'll talk about how to practically apply this in your life. However, I want to share with you the biggest shift in my own level of consciousness that I've ever had. And it was, I'm going to share you the secret to this whole entire thing that makes a huge difference. It happened when I was feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, about a 3 out of 10, as my natural base point vibration. I also identified as having ADHD, which means I was probably thinking really hard, TPM, thoughts per minute. The more thoughts per minute you have, the more resistance you feel. Overthinking is an survival mechanism. I need to survive. And of course, overthinking many times makes it even worse. Whereas if you think less, you get more. Have you ever had it where you're trying to think of something and you're just thinking about it, you're trying to figure something out, and then you go for a walk and you're not thinking about it, and the idea comes to you? The idea came from not thinking. Isn't that interesting? Now, back in the day, in 2012, I was feeling a lot of resistance. This is when I had my spiritual awakening, and my spiritual awakening came from a version of this insight. I identified so much with my painful past, with having ADHD. I was taking Adderall to focus at my job, smoking cannabis at night, just so I could focus or I could sleep. Now, what ended up happening is I learned how to observe my thoughts in meditation. And the key was observing, not trying to control. So when I say like, hey, thinking's bad, the ego will go, oh, I must not think thoughts. I'm not going to think thoughts. I'm thinking about not thinking thoughts. And then it becomes attached to not thinking thoughts, which creates more thoughts. The key to this whole entire name of this game, baby, is observation. Observe. Let it be there. It's like you just let it be. You don't engage with it. It's like if there was a toddler and the toddler was fighting with you and it was like, I want popsicles. I don't want to go to sleep. I want popsicles. And you're like, no, Jimmy, you can't have a popsicle because it's time to go to bed and blah, 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 blah. No, I want a popsicle. There's no reasoning with it, right? With that level of consciousness, that toddler energy. However, if you just let it be, you just observe it, eventually the baby's going to get tired and the baby's going to go to bed. The more you resist and argue with it, the more it's going to feed it. But it's like a lot of times if you let a baby have a tantrum or something, eventually the baby will sleep. When you observe your thoughts in a similar way, you just let them be there. That's where you create space. When I learned how to do this, by the way, within 2 or 3 weeks, completely got off of taking the prescription, completely stopped smoking. I was completely sober, feeling higher vibration than ever, wondering, is this feeling going to ever go away? And my base point vibration raised to like a 7 out of 10. Of course, it still fluctuated depending on if I was frustrated or something, but in general, it was a completely different level of consciousness. And it was the biggest shift in my life. And it came from my relationship to thinking. And if you're watching this video right now, then understand you can shift your relationship to thinking, which is also your relationship to the ego, which is also your relationship to separateness. Now, when I make videos, like right now, there's not much thinking. I'm not thinking, what am I going to say in 20 seconds from now? It's because I believe I make these videos often to where I get into a flow state and the energy comes through. And when the energy is around adding value to people on the other side, it's like the universe, the energy just flows through. Now, when you're doing what you're passionate about, there's a flow state happening. You don't have to think. If you were ice skating, you would be ice skating, not like I need to do this and then this and then this. You can overanalyze anything, but when you're really at your peak, you are in flow. And if you focused from controlling and attachment to thinking, and instead focused on lessening the thoughts per minute you're having, the TPM, your life would completely shift. You would find yourself in the right place at the right time. You would find yourself also, think about it nervous system wise. Your nervous system, if you think a lot of thoughts and are overly attached to thinking, you resonate with people that think a lot of thoughts and are overly attached to thinking, maybe even in survival mode. They've actually shown this we can sense hormones through energy. I remember watching an interview where someone was talking to a neuroscientist about this, and it was like, oh, you can smell it. No, it's not smell. There's a sense perception we have, and we resonate with people that have a similar nervous system as us. If you elevate your nervous system and you begin to regulate yourself in a new way, you may find some people fall away. But maybe the people falling away that you don't resonate with as much anymore were people that were keeping you through osmosis in those levels of consciousness. Now, you could say, I can raise my vibration and go over there and bring them all up. You can, but sometimes it's a big burden to have. So understand that if you want to attract people with a healthy nervous system, you must have a healthy nervous system. The thought TPM, the thoughts per minute that you're thinking, the attachment to thinking, is maybe what's keeping certain people in your life because you resonate with them. If you have fear, anger, guilt, shame activated, you will be more likely to resonate with experiences that reflect that back to you. So everything shifted in my life when I became more aware of my thinking. Now, one thing I am going to be doing, by the way, this is a brand new thing. I'm going to be doing that of something, launching the Shift Academy. SHIFT, Story, Heal, Identity, Frequency, Transformation. This is going to be that of a 6-month coaching program. And in it, we're going to do weekly calls with a curriculum that help you shift into a higher vibrational you so that you are creating for yourself a new reality. It has to do with parallel reality shifting, how to heal the empathic energy and how to feel safe in your own frame, individuation. There's many different unique levels to this coaching program. If you want to check it out, I'll go ahead and link it below, or you can go to aarondoughty.com/theshiftacademy. But it's open right now for enrollment. It's only open for a week until next Monday, and then it will be closing. And I'll be working with people for the next 6 months to a year. It's a year-long coaching program, but with 6 months of curriculum, weekly calls, and you can check it out below. Now, one of the things we will be doing is going through and really observing our relationship with thinking and also our relationship with beliefs, because your beliefs ultimately create your reality. What you believe to be true. If you believe and are bought into think you need to think more in order to solve a problem, then of course, thinking more is going to be beneficial to you. Now, when I became aware and started to observe my thoughts, one thing I became aware of is that I identified as having ADHD. And meditation for me wasn't even like something somebody gave me the option to do. But eventually, I kind of stumbled across meditation, and it completely shifted my entire life, learning how to observe my thoughts. Part of shifting is observing and creating space inside of yourself to become aware of these subconscious stories and energies that are running your life. So with this entire process of elevating your vibration, if you were to take and get anything out of this entire video that would change your life more than anything else, it would be if you developed some form of practice of observing your thoughts for 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, 5 or 10 minutes at night. Your life would begin to change in a very powerful way. Because just that little 5 or 10 minute window allows you, especially right when you wake up before you go to bed, because that's when your subconscious mind is the most active. It's the most, not active, it's the most penetratable. Is that a word? You can penetrate it the most. Is the 30 minutes when you wake up, the 30 minutes before bed. Observing your thoughts primes the rest of your day. And what you can then do is focus on the emotions you want to feel. Because when you're feeling love, joy, peace, you're not thinking thoughts, you're just feeling. And the funny thing is many times we will chase things on the external because we believe those things on the external have what we want on the internal. However, the things that we want to feel are already inside of us. And if we let go of the overthinking, if we let go of our attachment to it and we allowed ourselves to be present, we would enjoy it more. We would enjoy the present moment more. We would feel more love, joy, and peace, which allow us to attract more love, joy, and peace into our life. This is what affects the quantum field, the energy around us. Everything exists here and now. And that's why shifting very much is about understanding that the emotion, the energy, the thoughts that you have around your energy field are affecting what you attract into your life. It affects who you are being, which is exactly the most important part of understanding identity level transformation. Who are you being? In 2017, I started to be a YouTuber, and now my life is transformed. And then in 2022, I started to be somebody that's running live events in person, hundreds of people in the crowd. My life transformed. You are who you choose to be right now, right now, right now. Every moment's a new moment. Every moment's a new moment. But your attachment to thinking, and thinking is also thinking of your identity. We are thinking, feeling, acting equal to our identity. So to go beyond thinking allows you to go beyond identity into a completely new reality. So with that, understand you can shift by changing your relationship to thinking. Learn how to observe your thoughts for just 5 or 10 minutes a day. Let yourself understand that things in your life can get so good when you allow yourself to naturally raise in vibration, because that's all reality is a reflection of your vibration. And if you want to join a 6-month coaching program, year-long container for the cheapest price it will ever be, you have 1 week to do so, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It will close after the week. There'll be a registration, a waiting page for like the next round, which may be in like 6 months to a year from now. But other than that, if you want another video on how to think in high vibration, it's one of my most popular videos as of lately. I'll go ahead and link it right here. This video, I want to show you the most important and powerful insight I have